Article 25 is the request for the wastewater management plan implementation. I will start by saying the town has done very well in carrying out their commitment to the water quality improvements of this town. To date, we have an operating wastewater treatment plant. We have the necessary effluent beds to support that, or I should say the effluent disposal sites. Our downtown area is connected to the sewer. We are currently connecting Phase 2 in the Meeting House Pond area. And on April 23rd, we'll be opening up, April 28th, we'll be opening up construction bids for Phase 3, which is the lakes and pond area. The next step of the plan is Phase 4, which focuses on the South Orleans area. Right now, we are in the very beginning of that process. We call it a preliminary design. I have here in my notes to show you the map, but the map has been removed, so we will have to adjust that one. So I don't know if that's on the next slide, but yeah, so there's the map. So the dark shaded area, the dark outline is the sewer study area. That's all in the South Orleans area. You'll also see an area is shaded up and towards the top. That is the Phase 2 extension area that we're also going to be looking at as a potential add-on to this Phase 4 area. So as we go through the planning process, we'll narrow it down and be able to bring forward what our Phase 4 construction area will look like. Before any construction can happen, there is fairly extensive planning and permitting process. At this year's town meeting, we are asking to begin the preliminary process. Next year, we will focus on final design, and the third year will be the construction funding. The 3-year approach aligns with our Mass DEP-approved amended comprehensive wastewater management plan, as well as the updated Pleasant Bay watershed permit. The timing of this request is really driven by the State Revolving Fund, or the SRF program. This program is what offers the town a 0% interest loan on wastewater construction, which can save the town a significant amount of funding.
Sorry, I haven't messed with yours.
Thank you. To qualify, we need to meet certain deadlines, and the first one is expected to be in July of 2027. That is when the town needs to submit what is called the project evaluation form. This is essentially an application that determines whether our Phase 4 project gets included in the state funding list for that cycle, which is also called the IUP, which is the intended use plan. So on top of the SRF financing, projects that make it onto the IUP are also eligible for additional support through the Cape and Island Water Protection Fund, which can cover up to 25% of the cost of construction. So taken together, these programs represent a major financial benefit. That is why it is important for the town to stay on schedule and position itself to take full advantage of both of those programs. On this next slide, it may look simple, but there's a lot of key factors, key deadlines on this slide. First is the target to submit the PEF, which you can see. I did have a little arrow, but you can see in the first red box, that is our Phase 4 preliminary design funding. That is what we're asking at this next town meeting. Next year, we'll have the final design request, and a few months after that, we will be submitting that SRF PEF application. In order to do that, we need to do an extensive amount of field work. The phase includes gathering key data such as survey work, soil, geotechnical information, existing site conditions, start to determine where pump station identifications would go, as well as a preliminary layout. We need to design the pipe network. So an extensive amount of work that needs to be done before we can submit that PEF, and that's why we're trying to stay on this 3-year schedule. Should we be able to stick to this schedule, by June of 2029, we will be able to start to enter into a construction contract of Phase 4. This is similar to the situation what we have right now, which is where we just finished the completion of Phase 2 construction. We're starting to get properties connected to the sewer system while we're about to advance on construction on another phase. So sticking to this plan, we will be finishing Phase 3 construction, and then we will be starting the Phase 4 construction soon after. The intent of this really is to continue with our requirements through both of those Mass DEP plans that I had spoken to about earlier. One thing I will note is I will add somewhere on here that the request is for $2.7 million. And I think one thing I do want to include, which I brought up at the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners meeting, is the fact that I spoke a lot about these funding programs and, why we want to take advantage of that. But I don't think we can lose sight of the fact that nutrient pollution from septic systems are impacting the water quality here in Orleans. Addressing it isn't just about meeting these state requirements. It's about protecting the ways people use and enjoy our waters every day. Clean water supports tourism, swimming, boating, fishing, and shellfishing, all of which are important to this community and local economy. The town's proactive approach in reducing these impacts will help protect the resources of residents and visitors, not just for today, but well into the future.